I want a bolter like that, and I'm gonna make one. I'm gonna start by making the shell out of this ABS plastic sheet, and I will make the details out of foam and the handle out of wood, and use some PVC for the muzzle brake. Should be pretty cool. Yeah, hope you enjoy. So I'm going to start by transferring this shape onto this sheet of plastic. So I have finished cutting out the material, and the next step will be to bend it over to create the sides and top of the bolter. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off that, and I will use the tin snips for that, and then I will make plates that go around the perimeter. So I've covered the perimeter in foam, except for here, as there will be a part there covering it. It's not particularly neat in some of these areas, but that's fine because it will be covered with more foam. So the next step is going to be to figure out what shape that is. Which, that's going to be fun too. It's going to be fun. But I'm going to make that out of more of this foam and cut it out. And go from there. So I finished cutting out the shape that I needed. The next step will be to glue this rib onto the top of this to provide a little bit more height. And then glue this onto this, and then fold it over and glue it all down. So let the gluing begin. So I've glued the spacer on top, and the next step is to glue that down, keeping it nicely centered. And to do that I will be using the lines I drew while laying it out. I will of course mark out where the hole in the top goes, otherwise there will be glue on top of that and we don't want that. I'm going to have to heat this foam to bend it nicely. And the problem is if I do that, it will seal the foam and I won't be able to score and heat it later. So I'm going to add just a couple slashes for battle damage, like so, and they will expand when I heat the foam. And there we have some battle damage. So the next step will be to make detail bits that go on the sides of the bolter. Now I will be using foam to make them, as well as this little punch that I made out of some plastic. Now the punch will probably not cut all the way through the foam, but I can mark out where I want the cut and then use a pair of scissors to trim it out quite neatly. If I had a punch made out of a piece of brass tubing, it would cut it out quite easily, but I don't have access to any brass or copper tubing at this moment. Lockdown! Next, I will make this detail here. We'll be ignoring that one and making that piece. Next, I will attach these pieces with hot glue, of course. So, I have completed the greeblies. I still would want to add rivets of some sort, but I've created the sights, which are very coarse, which I feel kind of fits with the whole bolter pistol vibe. Created a mag release, a bit of trim around the mag well, as can be seen on the drawing, as well as the other bits. Now the next thing to do is to make this enormous muzzle brake. And to do that, I will be using a piece of 40mm PVC. I'm going to cut the required length, but that's a bit of a problem. It's wider than the thing I'm working on. But it's okay, because I am actually going to cut away the material around the edge so that that will fit nice and neatly in the middle. And then of course I will add a piece of 15mm like this. Unfortunately, I lost basically half the footage that I shot for this project, which is kind of annoying, but I blame that on computers. So what you saw me do there was I primed the surface using watered down wood glue, and then I painted it and made a purity seal. I weathered the surface, made the handle obviously as well, did a pattern on the grips, which I think looks pretty nice, and finished the project. It took me about 3 days to do, and I am quite happy with the outcome. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.